Get Folked Up is more than a music podcast. It's a celebration of the performers, traditions, venues, and stories that keep local music alive. We're bringing musicians directly to the people through honest conversations, artist interviews, live show promotions, and behind-the-scenes stories. Discover where your favorite local performers have been, what shaped their music, and where they plan to go next. Our mission is simple: pass down musical traditions, promote amazing local shows and venues, encourage people to experience live music, and build a stronger community around artists who make it all possible. Support local musicians, fill the venues, keep the tradition alive. Get the scoop, get involved, get folked up. Hey guys, welcome to a very special episode of the Get Folked Up podcast. Today we sit down with Oklahoma's own singer-songwriter Darren Thomas, a hardworking lineman, a preacher's son, and a man shaped by tradition, faith, and the lessons earned along life's long road. For Darren, songwriting is more than music. It's a need to give a voice to the story he has carried within him, the struggles, the sacrifices, and the moments that made him who he is. Thank you for joining me as we discover the man behind the music and hear how Darren Thomas turned a life worth living into songs worth hearing. Let's get the scoop. Let's get folked up. Hey Darren, thank you so much for coming on to Get Folked Up podcast, brother.
Thank you, Franklin. I appreciate it. Thank you for your time.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. For listeners discovering you today, how would you describe yourself and the music that you create?
Well, Franklin, I describe myself as an old Oklahoma boy. You know, my motto is Oklahoma's home. Truth don't need no polish. I write from the heart, truth. You know, it just seems like it comes natural, and I get that from down the road. And I think how I would describe myself is a hardworking blue collar guy who has a lot of life lessons and been taught a lot. And you know, we look through a frame, and that picture's our life. And that's how I write my stories. My wife says you're a sappy writer, and but that's who I am. I just don't believe in nothing, you know, that's not truth. And my best friend, a friend of mine, told me, he goes, "Man, you're a story-telling son of a gun." And he knew those stories because we lived them together. And that's how I want people to know me, is that it's truth.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, I agree with you 100%. I feel like if you're not genuine, it comes out in the wash, you know, and it's rare. It's rare nowadays to meet people that you can take for their word, and that you know, whenever they tell you something, that it holds its weight. And so it's really great to see that, you know, people that are genuine and that live that on a day-to-day basis. So thank you for setting an example.
Well, you're welcome. You know, I always thought, you know, when I'm trying to sit down to write a song, you know, maybe I'm too personal sometimes, but that's who I am. I like to get personal with not personal, but I like people to feel what I'm feeling. And that's just all truth, man.
Excellent, brother. Well, where did your love for music begin, and what traditions helped shape you as a songwriter?
Well, I'd say my country music began in a little town called Braggs, Oklahoma. It's straight east of Muskogee. It's where Camp Gruber is. That's where my grandma met my grandpa. My grandpa's from Kentucky, and that's where my roots are. You know, my roots are. Well, Braggs is in the hills and in the mountains. When you're coming from Muskogee, you got to climb a mountain to get to Braggs, and my roots are in the mountains, and I get it from my grandma. And my grandma gave it to my dad and my uncle. And every Saturday night they'd hold church service, and after church we'd go home. You know, I can remember listening to the Grand Ole Opry on the radio. We just sitting in the living room, and after it was over with, here come the guitars, and it was all one big family, one big concert, and country singing, and my dad played a little bit with Merle Haggard, and filled in a few times for George Jones on the drums, and I wrote a song called "Preacher's Son," country in my bones, and that's what it is. Country's in my bones. That's just who I am.
It's amazing. For people that don't know about that, I try to talk about that a lot, because I was able to grow up with that unity. Whenever you play a song and pass it around, and you learn from that, you want to be involved in that, and you get into those circles, and like you say, you start hearing these stories and you start learning these traditions that are passed down. And for people, like I said, that don't know that, it's something that's almost, I'm scared of it dying off, and I can't stress that enough, that people understand what that is and be a part of stuff like that.
That's right. My grandma always told me, my grandma was a songwriting machine. I mean, she could sit down and whoop out a song. Of course, a gospel song. She was a Christian woman, and I remember she had 2 or 3 notebooks just full of songs, and she wrote poems, and I just got it from her and my dad. My dad was very talented, and I can't play the guitar like my dad, but my dad was so good. My grandma was the one that actually taught me how to chord the guitar, because my dad was just so impatient.
Yeah, I hear you there. My dad's the same way. I mean, he showed me the 3 basic chords that he figured were the staple chords, and sent me on my way. He said, "You can write 300 songs probably with those 3 chords." So,
yeah, it's cool.
You have an incredible story. When did you realize songwriting was the best way to share it?
I go way back when, probably I was 11 years old. Just what it did for my grandma, what it did for my dad, and I knew. Matter of fact, I went through it here a while back over at my mom's house. I had no scrapbook, and it was the first poem I ever wrote to my grandma, and it always came natural. My wife even say, "I don't know how you do it," but it's a gift. It's a gift to communicate through song.
Yeah.
Of how you're feeling, what you've been through, what you saw in your life, and I don't know. It's just kind of like LeBron James playing basketball. It just comes natural,
Yeah. Yep. And that kind of goes into my next question. With the being raw and the real, I think that kind of helps with whenever you write your song. You can put your memories into those lyrics without losing the honesty. A lot of these songs, they end up elaborating into something that's more of a tall tale or something like that. But I think instead of asking you, I would just kind of like to add, I would assume that's probably why it is so easy for you to be able to be genuine and throw that into lyrics, without hesitation.
Touching on that subject you're talking about, I went over to a studio here a while back to record a song, and the guy there asked me if he could hear it, and we played it for him and let him listen to it, and he said, most songs are written and it takes so long to write because they try to make them sound the truth. He said, "I knew the first 4 lines. Yours was the truth." And that makes you feel good, and when you go back to what you said about a while ago about changing country, I look at Vern Gosdin, I look at George Jones, I look at Conway Twitty, Johnny Cash, and I've met some of those people, and man, they're just truth. And
yes,
I try not to write something I'm not, or I haven't lived. I might write something that pertains to what I lived, and make a story out of it, or a song out of it, as you may. But I just think country's always been country, and it's kind of changed a little bit, and there's a lot of good songs out there with a lot of good artists, but I still like the old Alan Jackson, George Strait, Brooks and Dunn, George Jones, Merle Haggard. That's the era I came from.
Yeah, yeah. Well, man, 40 years, I want to touch on this, on being a lineman, man. Through that hard work, what does that hard work look like in your musical journey, especially during like the hard moments?
To me, it's what you're taught to do in life. Being raised up in a good Christian home, not just it's if you want something, you got to work for it, and that's what being a lineman's taught me. Is I didn't even know that trade when I started it. I didn't know what it entailed. I didn't know how hard of work it was till you're out there walking them right-of-ways at night, trying to put them lines up, having to climb them poles, and figuring out how you're going to get equipment in to do it, and to see the sadness in people's eyes. But once you're there, you get to see the gleam in their eyes. That's kind of like music. That's kind of like songs. It kind of inspires you to work harder. If I'm making sense, it makes you want to work harder at something to be the best that you can be. And what I've learned here in this journey that I've started so late is that you get what you put into it, man. And if you want a good song, you got to write a good song. If you want to get the power on, you got to do it the safe way, and you work hard doing it. And the benefits is you serve the people, and to me that's what music is. Writing a song, you're serving the people. You're putting it out there for them, because you never know what person will hear your song that touches them, that might pull them up out of a dark hole, or make them realize they're not by themselves.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely, man. I think no matter what time we start that journey, we start traveling down that to where we can express ourselves through music. It's unique because, like, for instance, do you feel like as you carry the older musical tradition forward, do you feel like you're adding your own style to that while still bringing that old tradition with it?
I think so. I think it's kind of like my brother has his own personality, but yet he still has our traits that we were taught, and I feel like that's the way it is with country music. I mean, you're old country, but you get to tell that old country in a new kind of way.
Yes. I agree with that, man. So what do you hope listeners understand about you? Not just the musician, but the person after they hear your songs.
I want them to learn who I am, what I stand for. For one, I'm an Oklahoman, I'm an American. I'm a hardworking guy, and I just want them to know I want my songs out there to touch them, and I want them to understand everything there is to know about me that they can, as far as me being genuine, and being upfront and honest about my music, and that's it. I want to be the songwriter. I want to be the one that write it, and that's about all I got right there, Franklin.
That's a great answer. You told me, I know we spoke on the phone about it. But if you could tell the listeners, you've got a band that you're kind of working with right now, and a few other projects in the works as far as getting your songs recorded and out there to where people can hear them, correct?
That's right, man. I just today uh, I made the wheels caught some traction and made some connections and uh, things are this industry don't move fast till you
No.
get in it, but I'm making progress. I'm working with a band member here local, and he's helping me. Uh, Made some contacts with some people in the music business, and been invited to come to Nashville, and whenever I can get there. And there's a place there that lets walk-ins have it on. I think it's Monday nights, and they've invited me to let them know when I'm coming, and they'd get me on. And I just,
Excellent, man.
it. I'm not wanting to be famous. I'm just wanting to be heard.
That's why I'm trying to get this going for us, so that I can touch as many people with this podcast as possible. Um, and when they see my podcast, they can kind of tune in, hear your backstory, and hear people's story like yours. And I think that's really going to get people to want to come and listen and support that local music, so that we can get those stories out there.
Well, what I like about what you're doing here is, we didn't start this world by walking. We were born. We learned. We started somewhere, and that's just like being a lineman. You know, you you I didn't know the industry. I started from the ground level, and that's what I'm doing here. And that's you know, country music is not started on the stage. Country music started in a bedroom or in an office, or heck, I stopped on the way to work one day and started writing a song. That's where country music starts. That's where any kind of music starts. It starts from the pencil, and it builds from there. And when you get those bones under that song, and that song grows, then it matures, and it's kind of like life. I mean, you just don't you. It's like I told my son when he graduated and got married. He wanted to get all this. All I said, you got to earn it, man. And you got to build it. And I matter of fact, this is what's so cool about this industry, and how where I've been. And today I met a guy, and made contact with him, and man, we just talked all day long. And he's another songwriter that's got some songs in front of some artists, and he gave me advice, and I took his advice, and man, it 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 gave me two or three big steps from where I was. And it's friends, it's people becoming friends and helping you through your journey. And that's what I love about this community, and I love about where the way I'm doing it. Everybody wants something fast, but this don't happen fast. You got to build it. And uh, it's kind of like my grandma said about church. You don't build your house on sand, you build it on rock. And that's the way I think you do your country music, or any kind of music. I started a song about my grandmother in 1990. I think 89 or 90. I think 89, right after she passed away. It was between 89 and 90. And it was so emotional. It's called Ma's Hands. And it's about the woman that lived behind the scenes of Darren Thomas and my dad. And it was so emotional, so I couldn't write it. I just couldn't. And the first of the year this year, I picked it back up and I finished it. And that, to me, the grind. You stay with it, you finish it. And man, what a song. It's a great song. I played it for a guy that I work with, and he walked away from my door with tears in his eyes. And to me, that made me feel accomplished. That made me feel like I wrote a good song, that it touched somebody. He said, "Man, that makes you feel like my grandma." And I I I just thought, wow, what a compliment. You're doing basically what we're doing. I mean, you know, you're building. and I just happened to come up on your podcast, scrolling through Instagram and Facebook, and uh, I saw you do the band Country Junction, and I've been in communication with them, and that caught my eye, and I watched that podcast, and I thought, well, man, I'm gonna reach out to him, and tell him who I am and what I do and what my journey, what I'm wanting my journey to be. Uh, I asked my wife, I said, man, what would it be if I'd done this 20 years ago? And she looked at me and she goes, well, Darren, hell, you probably wouldn't have no damn story to tell. And and she's right. I think the good Lord let me start it this late to tell my stories and what was in my head, and go back and get those songs out of those boxes. Some of those songs were poems. I wrote a lot of poetry when I was younger, and I'd like to touch on one song that I wrote, and it actually tells you who I am and where I came from, and that's my dad.
Yes, please.
It's called Preacher's Son, and I'll tell you the story behind that song. Way back when, my dad was in bands, very talented. His dad, they didn't have much, man. I mean, so he split a muffler and made 2 guitars for him and his brother. And then once they learned to play the guitar, he bought him a 58 Strat, which I wish he still had. And but my dad wrote some songs. He wrote some songs that went way up there, and never got no recognition for them. He's from Muskogee. We are Okies from Muskogee, and he played at the Civic Center. His cousin owned the radio station there, and Dad was playing in a gig one night, and it was my uncle and some of their high school friends from Bragg's, and the story that was told to me that my dad was playing drums, and they was right in the middle of a song, and he put the sticks down right in the middle of the song. My uncle asked him, said, where you going? He said, I'm fixing to change my life. And he went straight to church. They had church on Saturday nights, and he went straight to church and gave his life to Christ, become a preacher. And I was raised a preacher's son. And but he let us boys be boys, and he let us keep country in our soul, and we'd play country songs. Daddy was strict, and but what a legacy, that I wrote about, and that's my song to him. And I wrote 2 songs for him. It's called Preacher's Son, Country in My Bones, and Carrying Daddy's Name. And I tore Carrying Daddy's Name down today and redone it. And because it just didn't sound right. The guy that was helping me told me what I could do and what I needed to do, and what to look at it again. And I looked at it, listened to it, and man, I rewrote it, and wow, just 2 or 3 changes in it just totally changed that song. But Preacher's Son is who I came from, and where I came from, and who I came from. My dad was a very talented musician, and taught himself to play the piano, can play drums. Man, he could pick up 2 rocks and make it sound like a steel guitar, But that song right there resonated really where I came from.
That's probably one of the best gifts that you could give, to honor him and what he did as far as that legacy goes, is to continue it on with the song.
It's funny you say that. I had a friend of mine from the hometown where I came from. He reached out to me and he goes, man, what are you doing that I'm not doing? And I said, I don't understand what you're asking. He goes, man, I've been trying to do this for years, and you're so far ahead of me now. And I said, man, I'm not ahead of you. I'm older than you. And he says, I got a song I want you to look at. And man, it is a great song. He wrote it about his dad, and which I knew him. I mean, I was raised with him, and I knew his dad. And I just said, hey man, do you mind if I put a little twist on it, or if I can give you some suggestions and put something in there and tweak something a little bit? And I did, and sent it back to him, and he just said, "Oh my gosh," you know. And I'm not saying I done it. I'm just saying it's just, well, I co-wrote a song with a guy from a town called Eufaula, Oklahoma. It's down around Eufaula Lake, and I met him online through the music industry, and we reached out to one another and said, "Hey, let's write a song." And he goes, "Where you from?" And I told him, and I said, "Where you from?" And he said, "I'm from Eufaula." And I said, "Hey, man, I know that area. Heck, my dad's from down and around that area. Let's write a song called Texana Road." And we wrote a song called Texana Road, and it's a road that hugs the lake, and there's a lot of little camping areas there, and we went back and forth, done it over the phone, called one another, emailed one another, text one another, just back and forth, and we finally come up with the finished product. And man, there's one line in there that says, "We'll be setting at number 7 while we're sipping on some number, or setting at number 9 while we're sipping on some number 7," you know. And that song, man, it's a great song. It's called Texana Road, that a guy by the name of Dawson Davis and I wrote it, and
Right.
it's a good song.
Right on, man. I'm excited. I know you were able to send me some of your stuff, and I've listened to it, and I love it. I've got it on my playlist every
I
day.
gotta
So
ask you. I've got to ask you.
yeah.
What's your favorite one?
Oh, Preacher's Son easily. I mean that one gets me. But I lean more towards the deeper the heartfelt, the better. You know, and I think that's I I was I tried to mask a lot of my emotions growing up and stuff too. And when I had kids, it let me kind of get in touch with those some more. And so now when I listen to music, the more that it tells me, the more I can feel from it, the better I feel. I like it, you know.
Well,
So
I wrote one. Uh, there was a girl back home that she's older than me, and she's my wife now. Uh, just just fell in love with her. She was our hometown festival queen, and she got married. I knew her all my life. Hell, she used to babysit us, you know, and she was just this beautiful woman that just always stuck in my mind. And my mom and dad just happened to move across the street from her, and her husband passed away. Great guy, and she was out in the yard one day, and I thought, well, what the hell? I'm gonna go ask her out, and she turned me down, and but we're married now, and I wrote a song. I wrote a song called "She Didn't Say Yes the First Time," and it's pretty cool, you know. She says, "You don't need to write a song about me," and I said, "I'm not. I'm writing about me. You rejected me." but but that's just the kind of songs I write, man. I mean, I can tell you every story behind every song that I write. And you know, there's some of the songs like Ma's Hands, Preacher's Son, Carrying Daddy's Name. Well, I'll give you for an example, and I wrote it pretty quick. We was at a graduation here at my hometown, and the guest speaker was the senior, and her first comment was that it's okay to cry, for it's the first sign of life. And I pulled my phone out, and I went into notes, and my wife said, "Put your phone down. You're at the graduation." I said, "I'm fixing to make some money," and so so I came home and I worked on it for 3 or 4 nights, and I wrote that song called "It's Okay to Cry," and I wow. And just by what somebody said, that just, my wife's always saying, "You're always, everything's a song to you. You're thinking of songs." And I said, "Well, that's the way my mind thinks, you know." And I'm always putting notes down in my notes, and it's just I don't know. It's kind of habit forming, you know. And I told my mom here the other night, or a while back, I said, "You know what, Mom? One of my songs is going to make it. It's just like you said a while ago about your show. I'm going to make it. And it's going to take a little hard work to do it. And you're going to fall on your face. But it's just like every time I got bucked off a horse, I got right back on it, you know." And I that's the thing about music is start somewhere, man. Just like your show, you say you don't have that many followers right now, but next week you might have double the followers. because you keep on doing it. And that's I don't care what kind of flack I get. I got some flack today, but dude, that's the world, man. This is my life. Nobody's in control of my life but me. And
Yeah.
and that's the way I look at my passion for what I do. People, some of my songs may not catch people. They might not like it, but there's those other 10 or 15 over there that like it, and that it resonated with them, and that's what I like about this music.
Yeah, and we're always going to have those people too that just see you doing good and they don't like that about it, and they want to try to bring you down, to make themselves feel better too.
Yeah,
That's sad but true.
yep, you're right. But I love what I do. I have fun with it. I'm I'm actually ready to retire and and push it and see what happens. I told my wife, I said, we're going to have to go to Nashville some, and make those trips. But if I don't make it, I can say I tried. Yeah, those little Oklahoma towns. And to see that, I was going to touch on that song right there. My grandma had so much inspiration on me, man. That woman, I'm not say she walked on water, she carried it. I wrote that song, those little Oklahoma towns, on an old saying that she said so many times to us boys. We'd be in the car, we'd be going to Gore or Muskogee or Salisalt, wherever we was going. She goes, well, boys, wonder Sally saw Henrietta wagging her Catoosa. And, that always stuck with me. And I remember the day that I sat down and I thought, I was thinking about Ma, and her maiden name was Kazay. And so if you hear a Kazay, I mean, it's just one of those names you don't hear, and they'd call her Kazai, whatever. But my grandma, she was the backbone of our family, and that woman left so many memories in me. And I totally took that old saying and made a song. It starts off, Grandma has a funny way of talking, like every road sign told the truth. Sally saw Henrietta wagging her Catoosa clean out of her boots. And I just took it from there, man. And she'd always say something about broken bow, broken arrow, and no water. So I thought I'd put that in that song. And I actually work in no water. And man, that song's went crazy. It's, man, the views on it and the response on it, it's just crazy. And it's just come from a saying that my grandma made and said.
Instead of letting those little reoccurrences pass you by, to be able to grasp those gifts and and carry them on like that too, because I feel like that's all part of the big plan. There's a reason.
That's funny you say that. Is that this all started from a song. As me being a lineman, I wanted to write a song that symbolized the lineman, that paid tribute to all those guys out there. I call them brothers out there that get called at 4:00 in the morning and have to work through the night and travel all over this world to get your power back on. And I started that. I sat down one day, it was a rain day, and it was just nothing. We couldn't do nothing. And I thought, man, I was bored. So I started writing a song called Line Life. And I changed it so many times, man. The first one sounded good, but to me it got to sounding generic. But it's funny, the song that got this all started, I just put out about 2 weeks ago, and it's called Line Life. And it's got a lot of good response. And you're talking about the Lord has his timing. And my wife kept saying, you need to put that out there. You need to put that out there. That's your song. That's your song. And I just thought I had better songs. And man, I put that out there. She said, you finally put that out there, and look what it's doing. Look what's going on. And I held on to that where the way I wanted to, instead of listening to people, and when I finally put it out there. But that's the song that got this all started. That's the song that woke all the old songs up. And it's amazing, and it's fun. I love it. I have fun with it. I've got to meet some people, through Instagram, through Facebook. I never was on social media till I started this, and I know I sound like Charlie Brown on there a lot of times, but the people I've met, the contacts I've made. I joined the Nashville Writers Association, and man, they've been a big help. My buddy, he's the one that got me on to telling me what tools to use. He told me when I sent him that song Line Life, and he said, "You need to join Nashville Writers Association." And I jumped right off and I joined. And then I started interacting with them, and getting evaluations back from them, and making contacts, and just doing what I've done so far. It's been fun. And meeting you, I'd have never met you if it wasn't for me out there doing what I do, and you doing what you did. And Country Junction, what a great band.
Yes.
They come down to Muskogee sometimes. That's where you need to come see them. And that's close to me.
Okay, excellent. Yeah.
That's real. That's about an hour from me, which all my family's down there. I need to go see my family anyway. But just the inner circle, and doing what you love to do. And I know me being a lineman, man, especially storm season, and us being on vacation, there's a lot of downtime, and hell, I wrote a song while we was on vacation in Florida called Down on 38, and because just sat back and watched what was going on, and I just took it all in.
Yeah.
And but I think a person should don't ever give up on your dream. Don't ever think it's wasteful time, because you never know what comes out of it. If I can get one person to change their life through one of my songs and bring them out of a pit, that's the richest I want to be. That's as famous as I want to be. I'm not doing it to be famous. I'm doing it to be heard and let people hear my story. I wrote that song, What I Gave to Whiskey. We were out remodeling our one of our RVs, and my phone rang, and this young man answered. I answered, and I said, "Hello," and he said, "Darren." He said, "Do you know who this is?" And I said, "No, I don't." And he told me who it was, and he goes, and you can hear him sniffling. He'd been crying, and he said, "I've been listening for 3 hours out in my garage for What I Gave to Whiskey. And I just want to call you and tell you I'm an alcoholic." And
wow,
if that made somebody realize, because I could very easily been that person, and I saw that song was about a story that I saw happen in my family, that what was taken and what was given and what the cost was. And if I can change somebody's life and make them stay with their family, it's all that moment's worth it.
Exactly. Yeah. Yep.
Just like your podcast. I mean, you take somebody on here that has more experience than me, I'll learn something from that. And that's what I like what you're doing.
That like-mindedness, the willingness to kind of communicate, sit down, learn something new. Nowadays, everybody, they're caught up in moving so fast and being right about everything. They can't learn nothing new, it seems like. So, yeah, touching base on that, and seeing that is a huge part of the music community. Like you were saying, I think that's what we're lacking a lot of. If we could translate that somehow, to people that don't live this lifestyle, that'd be amazing to me.
Right.
Well, brother, I was going to ask you, for people watching, what can you say to kind of inspire them to get out and to go see a live show and support some of the local musicians and songwriters?
I'd say, your support, and you're the fan base. You're the one that makes that story live. You're the one that makes that song live. You're the one that makes it happen. You know, it's just like a fair wouldn't be a fair without the people. And uh, I think that I would really, really tell the people how important it is to be a fan of somebody and back them. Uh, if that's your style that you like, if they touch you, reach out to them if you can get a hold of them. Become a part of their fan base. Go see them. And I'm not asking no one to spend their last hard-earned dollar, but if you can, and if you go support that, it's don't ever think you're making that person rich, because there's a lot of work behind the scenes that go into it, and where they came from and how they got there to make your life enjoyable. It's just like going to the lake's not really enjoyable unless you have a boat or a camper. I know people don't want to sit in the hot weather as of right now in a tent. So you got to go purchase that to have enjoyment. And I think that's what music is. That's what artists do. They pour everything into it. I just lived right down the road from Garth Brooks, and I listened to his story, about how he went to Nashville. And I actually known Garth when he was younger, and in his college days, and seen one of his shows. He played at Tahlequah at NSU when he first started, and actually I was behind the stage. And how humble that man is for the passion that he has for the music and the people. And the people poured back into him what he gave. And that's what I would say. Pour back into that artist what they give you. And because that's fulfilling to them as it is to the fans. It's like you get to go out there and write a song and give it to an artist and let them go on stage, and you hear your song. I just watched a deal on Alabama the other day. A girl here in Tulsa. Matter of fact, it was a young girl. I mean, a girl walking home from school wrote a song, and Alabama took it. It's one of the Angels Walking Among Us. That was wrote by, I think, a 10-year-old girl from Tulsa.
Wow.
And they took that song, and it just didn't make her famous, but it got her song heard. But the fans, because I was one of them, I poured in the Maybe Center just to hear them. And you're supporting them. It's like if you like the Dallas Cowboys, or you like the Kansas City Chiefs, or the New York Yankees, Kansas City Royals, you're going to pay to go see them because it's enjoyment to you. And then players are out there playing and giving their all because you're there to see them. And that's the way I feel like you can support an artist, a songwriter, a musician. You get on your podcast, watch your podcast, because as for Darren Thomas, I'm going to, because you're part of my circle now, and I'm going to do everything I can do to support you. And I know I put songs out there, and I will look on TikTok, I look on Instagram, and I look for the support. And when you get it, that feeling is like, man, I do have people listening, and to me, that's kind of like putting gas in your tank. It just keeps you going.
That's right. Well, I love that answer, man. And like I said, I can't thank you enough for coming on the show.
Well, man, I appreciate you letting me. I just want people to know that I write songs for them, I write songs to actually have fun, to enjoy my life, and I know that's why you do your podcast, is because that's your passion. And I appreciate you. I thank you very much, and I'm going to tell you, like I told the guy today, Franklin, I think I've made a friend, and anytime that I can help you, or you need anything, or you need something filled in, you call old D-Ron.
Excellent, man. Well, I tell you, the pleasure is all mine. And likewise, anything you need, I think you got every way to contact me. I could give you. If I find another way, I'm going to give you that too.
All right, brother. Sounds good.
All right. Well, you have a blessed night. And it was great talking to you. All right.
You too, man. Good night.
All right. Good night.